देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं विदिताखिल शास्त्र सुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत् कथितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं
Sri Swami Yogaswarupananda was born in Chennai and was known as Krishnamurti in his pre-monastic life. After reading an abridged version of the Mahabharata, a desire to lead a spiritual life in the Himalayan regions arose in his heart. He left hearth and home in 1964 at the age of 25. The grace of God brought him to the sacred abode of Sri Gurudev in Rishikesh. During those days, he assisted Sri Swami Krishnananda Ji Maharaj with correspondence in the mornings and helped Sri Swami Sharadananda Ji Maharaj in the afternoons at the Śivānanda Publication League. Sri Swami Sharadananda Ji Maharaj taught him yoga asanas and pranayamas in a systematic way. In the evenings, he attended Bhagavad Gita classes conducted by Sri Swami Hridayananda Mataji. He became an adept in the subjects of yoga and Srimad Bhagavad Gita and was initiated into the holy order of sannyasa by worshipful Sri Swami Chidananda Ji Maharaj on the Shivaratri day of 1979 and was given the monastic name Sri Swami Yogaswarupananda Saraswati. In 1973, worshipful Sri Swami Chidananda Ji Maharaj deputed Swamiji to conduct yoga classes for the IAS trainees at the prestigious Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration in Mussoorie. Swamiji used to conduct 9 courses in a year, each course lasting for 3 weeks. This honorary seva, done in the name of Sri Gurudev, continued for 30 years. Swamiji has been travelling regularly to many countries around the world over the years to conduct yoga classes, spiritual seminars, and to give personal guidance to devotees. In 2002, Sri Swami Chidananda Ji Maharaj nominated him as a trustee of the Divine Life Trust Society. In the following year, Swamiji was formally elected as the Vice President of the Society. On the 7th of July 2019, Swamiji Maharaj was elected as the President of the Divine Life Society. It is in this capacity that Swamiji is presently serving Sri Gurudev's holy mission.
పద్మభవం వసిష్ఠం శక్తిం చ తత్పుత్ర పరాశరం చ వ్యాసం సుఖం గౌడపదం మహాంతం గోవింద యోగేంద్ర మదాస శిష్యం శ్రీ శంకరాచార్య మదాస పద్మపాదం చ హస్తామలకం చ శిష్యం తం తోటకం వార్తికకారం శివానంద చిదానందాన్యాన్ अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव। अन्यदा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष महाप्रभु. Om. It is a well-known fact that Acharya Shankara, he propagated Advaita philosophy in ancient Bharatavarsha. During that period, the forces opposed to Vedic religion were more numerous and powerful at the time life of Acharya Shankara. Shankaracharya single-handedly, within a very short time, overpowered them all, restored the Vedic Dharma and Advaita Vedanta to its pristine purity in the holy land of Bharatavarsha. The weapon he used was pure knowledge and spirituality. It was in order to forge this weapon and wield it with efficacy that Acharya Shankara took birth in this Brahmin family and entered the sannyasa order early in life. Shankara was born in a very poor family in the year 788 AD in a village named Kaladi. Kaladi is a railway station on the Kochi-Shoranur rail link. Shankara was a Nambudri Brahmin. His father, known as Shivaguru, and mother is called Aryambal. His mother was an extraordinary woman. She took special care to educate her son in all the Shastras. Shankara's Upanayana or thread ceremony was performed in his 7th year after the passing away of his father Shivaguru. Shankara exhibited extraordinary intelligence in his boyhood. When he was only 16, he became a master of all the philosophies and theologies. He began to write commentaries on the Gita, the Upanishads, and Brahma Sutras when he was only 16 years old. Shankara's philosophical conquests are unique in this world. He had his triumphant tour all over India. He met the leaders of different schools of thought. He convinced them by arguments and established the supremacy and truth of the religion that he expounded in his commentaries. He went to all the celebrated seats of learning. He challenged the learned men to discussion, argued with them, and converted them to his opinions and views. He defeated Bhatta Bhaskara and condemned his Bhashya on the Vedanta Sutras. He then met Dandi and Mayura and taught them his philosophy. He then defeated an argument Harsha, author of Khandana Kadya, Abhinavagupta, Murari Mishra, Udayanacharya, Dharmagupta, Kumarila and Prabhakara. Shankara then proceeded to Mahishmati. Mandana Mishra was the chief pandit of the court of Mahishmati. Mandana was brought up in the Karma Mimamsa faith, and so he had intense hatred for the sannyasins. When Mandana Mishra was performing a Shraddha ceremony, when Shankara somehow dropped down there, immediately Mandana Mishra became very furious An ugly conversation was started when the Brahmins who were present there for dinner interposed and pacified Mandana Mishra. Then Shankara challenged Mandana to a religious controversy. Mandana agreed. Bharati, who was the wife of Mandana Mishra and who possessed scholarly erudition, was appointed as the umpire. It was agreed beforehand that Shankara, if defeated, he will become a householder and marry, and that Mandana, if defeated, would become a sannyasin and receive the robe of a sannyasin from the hands of his own wife. The controversy began in right earnest and continued for days without an interruption. Bharati did not sit and listen to the controversy. She threw 2 garlands, one each over the shoulders of each of the disputants, and said, "He whose garland begins to fade first should consider himself defeated." She left the place and began attending to her household duties. The controversy went on for 17 days. The garland of Mandana Mishra began to fade first. Mandana Mishra accepted his defeat and offered to become a sannyasi and follow Shankara. Bharati was an avatar of Saraswati, the goddess of learning. When the sage Durvasa chanted the Vedas before Brahma and his wife in a big assembly, Durvasa committed a small mistake. Saraswati laughed at it. Durvasa became enraged and gave a curse that she would take birth in the world. Hence, Saraswati had to take birth as a Bharati. Bharati now interposed and said to Shankara, "I am the other half of Mandana. You have defeated only one half of Mandana. Let us have a controversy." Shankara objected to have controversy with the woman. Bharati quoted instances wherein there had been controversies with the woman. Shankara then agreed, and this controversy also went on uninterruptedly for 17 days. Bharati passed from one Shastra to another. At last, she found out that she could not defeat Shankara. She decided to defeat him by means of science of Kama Shastra. Shankara asked Bharati to give him an interval of 1 month for his preparation to hold controversy with her in the science of Kama Shastra. Shankara went to Kashi. He separated his astral body from his physical body by means of his yogic powers and left his physical body in the hole of a big tree and asked his disciples to take care of that physical body. He then entered into the dead body of Raja Amaruka, which was about to be cremated. The Raja rose up and all the people rejoiced at the astounding incident. The ministers and queens soon found out that the revived Raja was a different person with different qualities and thought. They realized that the soul of a great Mahatma had entered the body of the Raja. Therefore, messengers were sent out to search for a human body hidden somewhere in lonely forests and caves and to burn it when found. They thought that if they did so, the new Raja might remain with them for a long time. Shankara was acquiring all the experience of love with his queens. Maya is very powerful. In the midst of those queens, Shankara entirely forgot all about his promises to his disciples, about his going back to them. Disciples began to search for him. They heard about the miraculous resurrection of Raja Amaruka. They immediately proceeded to the city and had an interview with Raja. They sang a few philosophical songs, which at once revived the memory of Shankara. The disciples immediately repaired to the place where the physical body of Shankara was kept hidden. By that time, the messengers of the queen had found out the physical body and had just begun to set fire to it. The soul of Shankara just then entered his own body. Shankara prayed to Lord Hari to help him. There was a shower of rain immediately, and that extinguished the flames. Then Shankara returned to his residence of Mandana Misra. He resumed the old controversy and answered all the questions raised by Bharati satisfactorily. Mandana Misra gave all his property as a gift to Sri Shankara, and Mandana was made to distribute it to the poor and the deserving. He then became a disciple of Shankara. Shankara initiated him into the holy order of Sannyasa and gave him the name of Sureshwara Acharya. Sureshwara Acharya was the first sannyasin who took charge of the Sringeri Mutt. Bharati also accompanied Shankara to Sringeri, and there she worshipped even today. And Worshipful Gurudev wrote Lives of Saints and Sages. In that he beautifully narrated this story of Acharya Shankara. And Shankaracharya created 4 ashramas: Sringeri Mutt in south, Dwaraka in the west, and Joshi Mutt in the north, Govardhan Mutt, and Shankara organized 10 definite orders of sannyasins and the name of Dasanamis, who add at the end of their names any one of the following 10 suffixes. Saraswati, Bharati, Puri belong to Sringeri Mutt, Tirtha, Asrama, Dwaraka Mutt, Giri, Parvata and Sagar, Joshi Mutt, Vana and Aranya to Govardhan Mutt. Gurudev Swami Śivānanda Maharaj comes under Sringeri Mutt, and we are known as Sri Swami Śivānanda Saraswati Maharaj. I am very glad to tell about Worshipful Gurudev. He was an ideal example of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. There are many divine qualities, and also Bhagavad Gita beautifully explains the characteristic of sage of steady wisdom in the 2nd chapter, and characteristics of a devotee in the 12th chapter, Gunatita in the 14th chapter, and all the qualities, divine qualities, which is beautifully described in the first 3 verses of the 16th chapter, we can find in Gurudev Swami Śivānanda Maharaj. Swami Śivānanda Maharaj took birth in South India, Pattamvadai, and after his education, he went to Malaysia to work as a doctor in the rubber plantations in Seremban. There, being a doctor, has got a special gift by the grace of the Almighty. He saw unity in diversity in all human beings. Being a doctor, he felt the blood is one, suffering is common to all beings. He began to feel the presence of divinity and each and every patient who came to him. And he also felt to cure the sick, poor and the needy is the easiest form of worship of God. He began to work night and day, and he read the books on yoga and Vedanta. In 1920s, he came back to India from Malaya to Himalayas. Swamiji came to Swargashram, and then he began to stay there. And then in those days, people, you'll have to walk from Rishikesh to Badrinath, nearly 300 kilometers. During that time, there is no medical facilities for the pilgrims. When they fall sick, they used to suffer. Then it is Swami Śivānanda, being a doctor, he not only gave medicine to the patients, and also he used to serve suitable food to the patients. Sometimes it is said, when the patient not in a position to walk, and he used to help them to provide bed, and he used to serve food, suitable food, and supply to them. Sometimes he used to walk some 6 to 7 kilometers on the way to Badrinath. When the patients were sick, he used to serve them. In 1924, he came back to Rishikesh, and then he travelled all over India, and then he settled this side of the Ganges bank and started the Divine Life Society in 1936. When he started the hospital, Swamiji felt to give food, shelter and clothing, not only the poor patients. He felt that most important thing in life is God realization or self-realization. He began to guide spiritual aspirants. Whatever thoughts came to him, he used to write and publish in many articles in many journals. Swamiji was known as Jīvananda. He is not merely named Śivānanda. And it is said, even subhuman beings, monkeys, dogs and cows, when they got injuries, used to come to Śivānanda Ashram, Swami Śivānanda Charitable Hospital. And as per the words of the Bhagavad Gita, he was really a Jīvanmukta. There are so many types of Jīvanmuktas, and Swami Śivānanda Swamiji was one, and then he felt that one self dwells in all human beings. And he saw that aspect of humanity, and his noble aim in life is serve all and love all. And there are so many types of Jīvanmuktas, like one of the Chandogya Upanishad beautifully describes the great Reikva the Great. He was known as a cart puller. He was so poor, and he used to sleep under the cart, and he used to live in that God consciousness. It is said, whoever remembers his name, and he also, his blessings ultimately will come to him. That was the great instruction of worshipful Gurudev Swami Shivaji Maharaj. And he used to remember all great saints, and east and west, and Reikva the Great, and also this conversation between Yajnavalkya and Gargi. He used to again make people to read that portion of the Upanishads, and he used to encourage them, our thought should be so pure, and most important aspect of life is, spiritual aspirant is Swadhyaya, self-study. And he used to invite many of the residents of the ashram, he used to encourage them to speak and sing glories of God. At the time in 1943, when the Second World War started, he felt the welfare of all humanity, and he began to start the Mahamantra Kirtan, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. He started that Mahamantra Kirtan on 3rd December, and also he wanted to inaugurate the Vishwanath Mandir, but local Pandits, they said it is not inauspicious. It is Swamiji's conviction. By repeating God's name, everything becomes so pure. And he inaugurated the Vishwanath Mandir. It is known as a Lord of the Universe temple, and in that He kept all the deities, one side Ganesha, another side Hanuman and Lakshmana, in the center of the temple, beautiful Krishna's idol, and right side Rama and Sita, and another corner of the temple Devi Rajarajeshwari, in the center on the ground, beautiful Shivalinga. Daily he made it a point, take Ganges bath and then go to the temple, offer Ganges water, flowers, and then he used to do puja, encourage many of his disciples to do puja in the temple 3 times a day. For him, it is called a spiritual life, to combine all aspects of spiritual life. To keep a good health, he emphasized Hatha Yoga, asanas and pranayamas. He himself began to do asanas and pranayamas to encourage others, and he used to sing glories of God, and he used to do worship, and then he began to read others the scriptures and also make others to talk about the teachings of the Upanishads. Swamiji combined all yogas, Hatha Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga and Jnana Yoga. He called it Yoga of Synthesis, and also he emphasized there should be an integral development of personality. Put it in a very simple way, Swamiji used to say, hands, head and heart should be combined, and hand should always serve, and head should think always positive thoughts, noble thoughts, and heart should feel not only human beings but all beings. Hence, as per the Bhagavad Gita, he is a practical ideal example of Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha, well-wisher of all beings. He lived in that spirit. For Gurudev Swami Śivānanda, there is no difference between male or female, rich or poor, young or old, and he saw nothing but divinity in all beings. He said, only by seeing the divinity, our mind, human mind, can be transcend all physical, vital, mental, psychological limitations. Swamiji is an ideal example of Jīvanmukta. It means person who lived in this body, but he is not of the body. Gurudev was not only such a person, he is living in this world, but not of this world. They are the qualities of Jīvanmukta beautifully described. He also wrote about Jīvanmukta, about the sages and saints, and in his name there are so many books, more than 500 books. Sage Vyasa wrote 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas. Shankaracharya wrote so many commentaries. Similarly, Gurudev Swami Śivānanda wrote more than 500 books on all subjects. And he was an ideal guide, spiritual guide, and not only Swamiji cured physical ailments, and he also cured mental ailments of many people. And once it is said, when he was conducting a satsang, a person with so much revengeful attitude, and when Swamiji was doing prayer, and then Swamiji was sitting so peacefully, he could not tolerate, and then he threw axe on towards Swami Shivaji Maharaj. It came near the head, slight scratch was there. All others caught hold of him. They wanted to do harm to him. But worshipful Gurudev saw nothing but divinity in him. He put garland to him and praised him. See, this is the result of anger. And immediately that person felt he became a great devotee of worshipful Gurudev. Swamiji was very, very kind, compassionate, and helpful to sick, poor and needy persons. During his satsangs, whoever comes from any part of India or world, he used to make them to repeat God's name and emphasize God's name is the panacea to cure physical, vital, mental and psychological ailments. Swami used to stand on the Ganges and used to do many hours in sitting posture and standing posture and in the river Ganges, and then he used to do prayer, and especially our full moon and new moon days he used to invite all the residents of the ashrama, and he used to pray all souls day, and he say he is not only people living and who are passed away, all the departed souls used to pray for the departed souls of all beings, and then he used to repeat universal prayer, and in that last portion of the universal prayer is, let thy name be ever on our lips, let us abide in thee for ever and ever. And whatever is not only a prayer, he lived in that spirit. All the time Swami was mind only directed towards the divinity. He saw nothing but divinity in all names and forms. That is one of the characteristics of the Jīvanmukta Lakshana, and he said nothing can give real peace of mind unless our change the angle of vision. He emphasized the importance of changing the angle of vision because of our vision, thinking also changes. Hence he said one must see nothing but divinity in all names and forms. It is our ancient culture. We worship mountains, we worship rivers, we worship idols and also forms, and also we worship even the blade of grass as nothing but object of worship of Lord Ganesha. Hence from blade of grass and mountains, rivers, everything nothing but for Gurudev is nothing but expression of divinity. He lived in that spirit. Hence Swamiji is known as, while living, he is no way limited by any names and forms. And he transcended, he saw nothing but all-pervading, universal consciousness alone. That is the changing the angle of vision. That is the importance in life. And Swami Śivānanda lived in that spirit. May the grace of the Almighty, worshipful Gurudev Swami Śivanji Maharaj, be ever upon all the devotees is my heartfelt prayer. Once again I repeat that Gurudev's universal prayer. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. Thou art Satchitananda, existence, consciousness, bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptations and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, greed, hatred, anger and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. That is the universal prayer of Adorable Gurudev Swami Śivānji Maharaj. He lived in that spirit. It is not only a prayer for him, that is real life of Swami Śivānanda. Śivānanda, he was known as Givananda, he was known as Dharmabhushan, and he was well known as Yogi of the Himalayas. Swamiji used to get letter, Yogi Rishikesh Himalayas, that is his address. Hence he was lived in that spirit, and may his grace be ever upon us all is my heartfelt prayer. Hari Om.
Oh, I shall talk to you today briefly on divine life. Divine life is life in God or the immortal soul. He who lives the divine life is free from cares, worries, anxieties, miseries, sufferings, and tribulation. He attains immortality, perfection, freedom, independence, eternal peace, supreme bliss, and perennial joy. It radiates joy and peace and light everywhere. Lord, to lead the divine life, we need not retire in the forest. You can lead the divine life while remaining in the world. What is what it is? Renunciation of egoism, mindless attachment, vasanas and krishnas. Give the world mind to God and the hands to service of humanity. Serve humanity with Atma Bhav. Serve the poor, serve the sick with the Narayana Bhav. Serve the society, serve the country. Selfless service is the highest yoga. Samadhi will come by itself without any effort for one who is solely absorbed in service and his heart is purified. Service is worship of the Lord. Never forget this. He who sees Brahman or the immortal soul in the spoon, Brahman in medicine, Brahman in the patient, Brahman in the doctor, Brahman in service. He who thinks or meditates thus when doing service verily reaches Brahman or the eternal. The practice of Brahmacharya is very important for spiritual progress. Brahmacharya is the basis for acquiring immortality. It is itself divine life. Brahmacharya brings material progress and psychic advancement. It is a substratum for a life of peace in Atma. It is a powerful weapon for controlling the internal rajasic forces, mainly kama, krodha, lobha, etc. It gives tremendous energy and gigantic willpower and good vichara shakti. Japa is an important anga of yoga or divine life. The mantra is divinity. Japa is a repetition of the mantra or the names of the Lord. In Kali Yuga, practice of japa alone can give eternal peace, bliss and immortality. Japa ultimately resolves its body or communion with the Lord. Sankirtan is the singing of Lord's name with faith and devotion. When you sing His names, feel that Lord Hari Arishta Devata is seated in your heart, that every name of the Lord is filled up with the divine potencies, that the old vicious samskaras and vasanas are burned by the power of the name, and the mind is filled with sattva purity. The rajas and tamas are completely destroyed, and the veil of ignorance is torn down. This kind of mental attitude brings the maximum benefit of Sankirtan. It is not the number of japa or the length of time of kirtan that counts for spiritual growth, but the intensity of bhav with which the Lord's names are sung. Oh.
विदिताखिलशास्त्रसुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत्कथितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं शरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम् भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्